Welcome back, everybody. Hope you had a nice little break. I'm a bit coffeeed out myself, so I just went with the water. Not too exciting today. I know I've been telling you my coffee updates as if everyone cares what kind of coffee I'm drinking, but just sticking to water today. I'm joined here by Stuart Lawler. Hey, Stuart, how's it going?
Good morning, Erica. Nice to
Good
be here.
morning. Yeah, thank you so much for taking your time out of your day to join us today. Stuart today is joining us from the INBAF, and he's going to be talking to us about different formats for people with sight loss. So really excited to have you here today, Stuart.
Thank you very much, Erica, and very nice to be here. And good morning, everybody. I'm sorry, I am slightly distracted as I arrange my screen share, but
No
hopefully you're able
problem.
to see my
Yep,
slides.
we can see it perfectly. So take it away whenever you're ready.
Thank you very much, Erica. Good morning, everybody. Thank you very much for the invitation to the Gather online event. I've been looking at the program and just such a wonderful array of presentations over the last 3 days. Great to see so much information and knowledge sharing in the sector, and we're delighted to be here. So I'm Stuart Lawler, and I'm from INBAF, that's the Irish National Braille and Alternative Formats Authority, and I am the Executive Director and Chair of INBAF. It is a voluntary position, and we're a voluntary organisation. And today I'd like to take a couple of minutes to tell you a little bit about INBAF, what we do, and to talk about the challenges and I suppose, the potential opportunities in creating information in an accessible format. That's what I'm going to do over the next couple of minutes. Let's tell you a little bit about INBAF. As I said, we're the Irish National Braille and Alternative Formats Authority. Our mission is on screen to advocate, support, and advise on all aspects of accessible formats. We were founded in 2011, and we were originally an umbrella group for Braille production providers in Ireland. Braille production is highly specialized, and there was a need, I suppose, at the time. There was a feeling that there was a need for an organization that would act as an overarching group to share best practice in production of Braille, but also to look at international best practice. And we're also members of the International Council on English Braille. Our founding members are the Library and Media Services at Vision Ireland, Reading Services Braille Production Service at Child Vision, and the Arbor Hill Braille Production Service. What have INBAF been doing to date since 2011? We successfully introduced the Unified English Braille Code in Ireland, and this is quite significant for Braille users. In the past, where you were in the world depended on the type of Braille that you would be reading. So there were different ways of representing, for example, punctuation, different rules for use of Braille in various parts of the world. And over the last 23 or so years, the Braille code has been unified in all English-speaking countries in the world. And INBAF was tasked with introducing that into Ireland, and in particular into the school system, since 2013. We updated and completely revised the Irish Braille Code, which had not had an update since the mid 20th century. So the Irish Braille Code is now fully updated, and indeed later this year we will launch the Irish Braille Primer, which is a really important rule book, very useful for teachers and Braille transcribers. We've produced guidelines for teaching of STEM subjects, again in Braille, because they're very specialist and require a lot of time. And again, there's very little expertise available to support teachers and transcribers. And continuous engagement with the community. We have been, over the last 10 or so years, traveling around the country, providing information on primarily Braille, and in particular the switch over to the Unified English Braille Code. But of course now, because INBAF is all about alternative formats, we are exploring other formats as well. And we recently joined as associate members at the Disability Federation of Ireland, DFI. So who uses accessible formats? And I think the target audience that INBAF has served over the years has probably changed. When we when we launched in 2011, we were thinking very much of the sight loss community. And I suppose we were thinking very much initially of the Braille community. But now we're really exploring and seeing accessible formats in the context of anybody who finds accessing regular print to be difficult. So obviously people who are blind or visually impaired, people with reading difficulties such as dyslexia, people with a physical disability who cannot access print. And I would also say people who choose for various reasons not to access print. So people who maybe do a lot of driving and tend to listen to audiobooks in their cars. I think anybody who chooses to use an alternative format is somebody who can engage with INBAF and somebody who INBAF can support. So the challenges and opportunities in creating and producing accessible formats, and I think probably for a lot of people on this call, if you're involved in this area, you probably know a lot of this already, but it's no harm maybe to reflect on it and to think a little bit about it. So one of the obvious challenges is time and cost. We know that producing accessible formats is not always easy. Thanks to technology and more laterally to AI, there are a lot of automated tools. Some of them are very good, and depending on the content that you need to make accessible, some of them can do a very good job. But they do require a lot of user input. In the case of Braille production, for example, there would be a lot of proofreading, and again, producing some of the accessible digital formats lends itself better to certain types of content. And again, it depends who you're producing for. And which brings me on to my second point, which is around inequity in format production, rather inequity in format or digital format availability and digital file types, which depends on the types of assistive technology that a user may have. So I think we're all aware of the challenges, in particular for screen reader users, of, for example, using PDF documents. If they're not marked up correctly, they won't always work. I think some people open PDFs with a certain trepidation all the time. We've had DAISY format files for many years. And of course, now we have EPUB, which is becoming the new standard and which offers a lot more compatibility, I think, with the assistive technologies, and that publishers are getting this stuff, making this stuff, producing this stuff directly is also a really good thing. So some of the opportunities, why create accessible formats in the first place? The most important thing maybe is it's the right thing to do. It is just the right thing to do to make your content accessible. And as a content creator and as somebody who has something to say, you surely want as many people as possible to read your message and hear what you have to say. So it's the right thing to do. The European Accessibility Act, and I think you've had something earlier in the sessions around the European Accessibility Act, something that's coming down the tracks at the end of June, something that's going to be a monumental shift, I think, in the way that we think about accessibility and digital accessibility. And we're really interested to see where that journey takes us. For INBAF, I think that's going to be very exciting as we try to support and advise people on making their content accessible. And finally, just to say thank you for listening. I hope it has provided some thought. I've put our contact information on screen here, our website at www.inbaf.ie. You can email info@inbaf.ie. We're also on social media, on Facebook, Instagram and LinkedIn. And we do have an event, an in-person event, actually this time next week at 10:30 next Thursday, the 5th of June, at the Fighting Blindness headquarters in 21 Hill Street, Dublin 1. We're having a coffee morning and a kind of a chance for people to come along and find out more about INBAF and what we do. So if you'd like to come along, you're more than welcome. All the information is on the INBAF website. So thank you to Erica and the team at Ahead for the opportunity to present, and I'm very happy to take any questions if there are any.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Stuart. It's wonderful to hear about the work that INBAF's doing, something that I think people might not have been familiar with before. So it's wonderful to hear that. Also, a big fan of a good plug. So it's nice to hear about your event coming up next week. I'd imagine some of us will be attending. Great to hear. We might just give it a few minutes in case anyone has any questions. feel free to pop them either in the chat or use the Q&A function or raise your hand and we can unmute you. But meanwhile, just thank you so much, Stuart. It's wonderful to hear your experience.
Thank you. Thank you again, Erica, and thanks to everybody. And again, if people don't have questions now, you can always contact us afterwards or go onto the website or send us an email, and we're very happy to chat to anyone. And we'd love to know about anybody's challenges in creating accessible formats or anything else around that area. We often talk to people, for example, about signage, for example, accessible signage. So any queries that people may come up with in the future, please feel free to get in touch with us.
Perfect. And there actually is a hand raised there. Solomon, maybe you just dropped your hand. So maybe if you'd like to ask the question, Solomon, you're welcome to. Let's just say, yeah. Are you there, Solomon?
Hello.
Hi, Solomon. We can hear you.
Thanks very much. Thank you for Stuart for a presentation. I have a question for Stuart.
Yeah.
My question is there any form of kind of education like for ICT or others for visually impaired people they can go through, for example, to learn the tools? At the moment, we have some learners here who come in here in the College of FET here in NS. They're asking us how to start. For example, people who become visually impaired recently, and I know Vision Ireland are supporting them and everything else. But here on our part, we would like to do as much as we can and make them engage in the courses
Yeah.
that we're looking for. A course on a particular application, or for example, a course on narrator, so as they can use the computers and access the course contents where they are attending in their classes. So my question is there any formal lesson for visually impaired people to use these tools?
Yeah, it's a great question. No,
Thank you.
many thanks, Solomon. It's a great question. And I just see a message from Rachel in the chat there, Rachel Kane. And Rachel, hi, Rachel. As regards the training courses, you've mentioned Vision Ireland already. In BAF, we don't provide courses, although we do signpost people through our partners, one of which is Vision Ireland. So that's a good link that you have already. I know Microsoft Online has a ton of tutorials and online help about Narrator. So that might be somewhere to go. The Microsoft Accessibility Answer Desk is always also a great place to go. You can access it either on the web or using the Be My Eyes app. So they just might be a couple of things that might be of help.
Thank you. Thank you. I will look into that. Thank you very much.
Thanks a million.
Thanks so much, Stuart. And there's one more question that I saw in the chat there, and it's what's the most common format people are using, just out of curiosity from one of our participants?
I suppose people still tend to gravitate towards text-based formats. Word, some people still are using plain text, although we tend not to recommend plain text as much anymore because it's not very navigable. So Word documents are good. Daisy is good. And when you get well marked up HTML or PDF, they're also good.
And I'd imagine it's a hard question to answer with so many different users preferring different methods.
Exactly. And I think I was just giving a real snapshot there. And this, I suppose, formats are changing all the time. I think the fact that now there's a standard around EPUB, and I think that's very positive, and we're really glad to see that too.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. It's probably good for you to hear Alistair's talk this morning as well about the web content accessibility guidelines.
Definitely. Yeah. It's really exciting stuff coming down the tracks, I think.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you so much once again, Stuart, for taking the time out of your day to be with us.
And thanks, everybody.
It's wonderful to hear
Enjoy
your
the rest of your
insights.
event. Yeah.